I don't know how any of this shit works.
No.
I shouldn't be owning a PC is, I think, the lesson that I've learned over the past year is I don't have the know-how or just like the mental bandwidth to want to support dealing with a device that needs to constantly be maintained and upgraded and taken care of.
It's
So
like a
I don't know what that says about me.
It's like a pet, but like not fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you game on the PC or no?
I purchased this with the intent to do more PC gaming because there's like PC exclusive games that I really wanted to play. And I figured I would build it for like streaming and stuff, and I quickly gave up on that venture because it's a lonely and sort of really depressing way of trying to create content, in my opinion. I wanted to get into PC, and I regret it, and I don't care. I'd rather just game on my PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. That's all I need.
That's all I have. I'm not, and I don't really game. I shouldn't really say that. I play like 4 games.
You're playing Resident Evil.
I haven't returned yet. I've been really getting in on my tennis video game, which is deeply embarrassing.
What is it?
It's Topspin.
Okay.
It's
like
basically like NHL.
franchise.
Yeah. But I've been injured, so I can't play for real. So this is like me.
Your escape?
Yeah. It's sad.
Did you ever... The only tennis game I ever really played was Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called.
I don't know. Whichever one, I guess, was on the Wii. Is that Aces?
No, the one I'm talking about is on Switch. There might be one on Wii. I don't know.
I played the one on the Wii because I remember like whatever... They had like a graph that showed you.
Mario Power Tennis.
That's what I played?
Is the Wii one.
Okay.
But it's a GameCube version. It's GameCube, but I guess they remastered it for the Wii.
I was crushing on that, I will say.
We should talk about movies. We should do it. That's what this podcast is. This is another episode of I Think You'll Hate This. My name is Nick.
My name is Tina.
Wonderful. Eventually, I think probably by episode 10 or 15, we might figure out how we intro this thing. Right now, I'm trying to like keep it loose, keep it fast, keep it fun. LFF. And
LFF?
Loose, fast, and fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Loose,
I didn't.
Fast, fun.
There are like so many slang
Acronyms.
words from the internet that you could say to me that I would have no idea what they were.
Well, I just like truncating things into like an acronym where it doesn't make sense and it's only for me.
Good.
But we're here for another episode. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about movies as we always do. We're going to start this episode off like we typically do with a news story. Last week, Tina, you delighted me with, well, I guess you kind of put me in the hot seat in some respects that like I clearly haven't seen quite a few cinematic classics.
I didn't think you were going to go for like 7 or however many it was.
I hadn't seen any of them. So
that's crazy.
I needed to be at that film festival.
I will say my dad texted me because he saw it on Instagram and he said, "This is why you can't leave our podcast because I've seen all those movies." And I was like, "I don't think you have though, Dad. I think you've seen them all, but there's not a chance he's seen Repo Man or Barry Lyndon."
Yeah, honestly, both of those movies. And but I mean, his podcast with you like serves a completely different purpose. So it's
exactly.
Like we'll cover those movies eventually. My story today is, I mean, it's timely, but it's also not going to be timely because like this is a movie that's been long gestating for a while now. We're now in 2026. This movie came out in 2022. I want to talk about Matt Reeves's The Batman, the sequel, Batman Part 2, because just today, news is circulating that Sebastian Stan is joining the cast, allegedly as Harvey Dent. This comes on the heels as well as conversations with Scarlett Johansson joining the cast, I believe as Harvey Dent's partner, wife, whomever. And also within the same news cycle today, on the heels of the Sebastian Stan conversation, rumors are continuing to propagate that Barry Keoghan, who made a brief appearance at the end of the Batman as the Joker, quote unquote, is also supposed to be returning in this. No Zoe Kravitz, apparently. No Catwoman return, which is a shame in my book. But this movie, I mean, we're going on 4 years, basically, since it's come out. The script has been back and forth with Matt Reeves working on it, sending it to DC. James Gunn's read it, all this other stuff. They're just waiting for the right moment. There was like strikes and all sorts of things that, have been happening over the past 4 years that have sort of delayed the production. I think right now, as of this recording, it is tentatively scheduled to come out sometime in 2027. So that'll be 5 years after the original one, which feels nuts. So I don't know. This was just kind of wanting to have a conversation about what are your feelings on the Batman writ large, as well as any optimism or feelings about the sequel, how long it's been taking to make. Does that bode well? What are your feelings on all this?
So shockingly, I like the Batman, which is
good. So we can agree on that. I love that movie.
It's fantastic.
The fastest 3 hours ever.
Except for those last 30 minutes when it turns into just like CGI nonsense. But I do think that this is the best. Normally, I don't like Batman. I don't think he's a particularly interesting superhero for me personally. But I think that this version of Batman, where he just seems like this sad boy with like smeared eyeliner and he's just desperate to try and make Gotham a better place, is like, I understand him. He's moody Superman. I get it. I like it. I love the Penguin also. I think that has made it seem like we have not been waiting 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's fair.
Yeah, because we had the Penguin. But, oh, man, what's her name? Kristen Milioti?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Melodio, yeah.
And she just won, too, right? So it feels like she won over the summer. So that's why I feel like I personally don't feel like I've been on the edge of my seat for the Batman, but I also know that I am not the prime audience because I saw none of these news alerts today.
Okay.
So my algorithm was like, oh, she's not interested. I did see that Scarlett Johansson dropped out of Tangled live action in order to do this.
Wasn't she supposed to be Mother Gothel or something?
Right. And I think she dropped out of that for Batman, the Batman 2.
She's supposed to be doing some Taika Waititi Tower of Terror movie, I thought. This was years ago.
I remember hearing about that. I think his kind of stock in Disney has crashed.
Plummeted.
Yeah. So I don't know if we'll ever get that.
Agree.
But I don't know. I feel I like Sebastian Stan and I like Barry Keoghan. Scarlett Johansson, it depends on the role for me. But I don't really know Batman's like treasure trove of superheroes. I know he's Two-Face. I know Harvey Dent is Two-Face.
Yep.
I'm excited for a Joker that isn't Jared Leto or Joaquin Phoenix.
That's fair.
So all in all, I feel interested and I will wait for 2027, but not with like on the edge of my seat bated breath for it.
I think that's fair. I was a little kind of weird about the notion of another Joker because I believe around this time Joker was already kind of like at its, we were, I believe, 2 years removed. I believe that was a 2019. Oh God, was it really that long ago? Joker was like 2019.
Yes.
It felt like that had just come out though. And then I think it might've been because we were all like preparing for Folie à Deux, which came out 2 years after the Batman in 2024,
right?
Which that was.
I think my dad is
that came out.
The only true fan of that movie.
Of Joker Folie à Deux?
Mm-hmm. He said it was fantastic. He said they all should have won an Oscar.
Look, like I said, you guys have that podcast, and it's a beautiful thing of what it is because you get takes like that, which are incredible.
It's incredible that we still have a functional relationship, but
I don't share his feelings on that one, and
neither.
I think that I do think though, like if had that movie been a success and as good as the original 2019 Joker, which I fondly enjoy, I rewatched it before Folie à Deux, and I thought it was pretty good. If Folie à Deux was as good as that, then maybe my feelings would be different about Barry Keoghan potentially coming back because it's like it just feels like too much in this world.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the Matt Reeves sort of DC universe kind of being its sort of a DC Elseworlds, sort of away from the Supergirl and the James Gunn of everything, I'm totally fine with this. I like that, and I was just a huge fan of Robert Pattinson's performance as Bruce Wayne and Batman. what you mentioned about sort of like sad boy era Bruce Wayne that wants to just do his best to like help Gotham or whatever. I also appreciated that in that movie, it's not a Batman or Bruce Wayne that is like sort of, puffy in terms of his sort of inheritance and like being like a rich sort of like fancy guy. Like he seemed like really like ambivalent to that. Like he didn't really like, he's like, I live in this mansion or whatever and stuff, but like I don't see myself as that sort of swanky like Bruce Wayne, a billionaire, like, whoa, he owns all these properties, like almost like a Christian Bale almost. I'm thinking like early Dark Knight stuff. Like I like this take of it, and I also like the detective angle as well. I think that was a really fun change.
I mean, I think it's the closest that we will get to Fincher outright directing a superhero movie, you know?
Yeah, that's a great example, because the Batman is the most David Fincher coded superhero movie I've ever seen.
Which I think is why I like it, because it still gives you like the epicness of a superhero movie of like, fights. Everybody loves a fight scene. It's still interesting and compelling to watch that. But you also get like the grungy, dirty crime stuff too. That's incredibly well done. So I think that's why I like it so much, is it feels like it's a Fincher movie with a guy who wears a silly little cape.
Now at the mention of Fincher, I feel like that could be its own news story or just topic of show, because I have a lot of takes that we won't get into right now about what Fincher's been up to lately with Netflix and all that jazz.
What's the Batman quote? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
That is Fincher personified. So
I love American Squid Games. I'm so excited.
Oh my God. Kate Blanchett, what are you doing? What's happening?
Oh man.
All right. That's it. That's all I had for the story today. I was thinking we could start with a 2026 release we both just saw. We alluded to it on the past podcast. We're here. We've done it. 2026 is raring to go. It's time to talk about Primate.
It's time. We saw it as part of Scream Unseen. AMC does not sponsor us, but they could. We can be bought. Send us.
It won't take much.
Nope, just the Nicole Kidman jumpsuit. That's it. That's all we need. Okay, just do we want to give any sort of synopsis to it, or you just want to dive into what Primate is?
I think we definitely can. Do you have that ready, or you want me to run that up?
I was just gonna say, it's a home invasion movie, but the call is coming from a chimpanzee who has rabies inside the house.
That's better than reading it off Letterboxd. I'm totally fine with that. That's a great summation.
Thank you.
Primate, yes, is directed by Johannes Roberts. It also stars Johnny Sequoia, Troy Kotzer of Coda fame, and a couple other actors whose names I don't recognize. Sorry. You did good. Serviceable. This, like I said in, I believe, the previous podcast, this premiered at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas. It got rave reviews, a lot of great descriptors, comparing it to, and I kind of stole this for my sort of Letterboxd one-liner, but people describing this as Cujo with a chimp infused with John Carpenter's Halloween. It's 100% true to form. That is exactly what this movie is. If that does not sound compelling to you, this won't be your movie. It doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. It's not saying anything earnest or different. It's not presenting this type of creature feature or horror thriller in a different and unique way. It is 100% exactly what it says it's going to do. And I think because of that, it allows itself to 100% go all in on it.
Yeah.
And I had a blast from start to end with this movie.
It feels like it's very much the antithesis of everyone saying, oh, modern horror is this art house horror that's bogged down in symbolism and thematic purposes. Grief. And yeah, we've all seen a ghost as a grief. We've all seen a monkey as grief. But this one, it was just like, no, this is man versus nature in its purest sense. Can a group of humans outsmart, outlast an ape with rabies? Which do you think you would survive?
No. Well, I mean, we'll obviously not get into any spoilers or any.
I think we have to get
prolonged
into
descriptions
spoilers.
Okay, well, we'll
We'll tag it, yeah.
when that we'll tag that when it comes in. But no, I mean, after watching that movie, I mean, granted, there's some things that I would have done differently, but no, I think that even a chimp without rabies, in all the sort of interpretations I've seen of it, whether it's, the Gordy's home sequence from Nope, which that was just, a chimp just freaking out, reacting, and the other sort of harrowing real life stories. I can't remember the lady's name off the top of my head, but like it was a whole Oprah Winfrey segment where a lady who owned a pet chimpanzee, I believe her friend came over and it mauled her and ripped her face off, and she got facial reconstructive surgery, and she had a whole Oprah interview and stuff where she wore like a cloth, like a sort of like a veil. One of the characters actually in Nope.
Oh yes, yeah, the rodeo.
She's like disfigured or whatever, the rodeo thing. Yeah, so she was one of it's kind of an homage to that in some respects. But no, I don't. I don't think that I would survive this altercation. And this gets me to the thing I mentioned to you yesterday. We wanted to save this for the podcast. This goes into why I don't think I would have been able to survive this. And it's also an example of probably the only like con that I would give this movie. Again, it's a very straightforward movie. I didn't find any of the performances insulting. I didn't think that any of the behavior logic of the characters was like, well, this is just stupid. Like everything felt, and every time I had a moment where like, well, why don't you just go do this? The monkey's distracted. They like 5 seconds later started to do it. And I'm like, okay, you guys are good. Yeah. So with that, I think that it gets a lot of points for not being like a movie with no logic and where you have to completely suspend disbelief. It felt very real in that respect. But there was one thing that going into this movie I was really hoping they would do because of a lot of the reactions out of the festival. Some people saying like, oh, there's one kill sequence in particular that's going to be like the one to beat for 2026. And
think it was this one?
It's the bedroom scene, I think. But even in that scene, the thing that I wanted them to do, that I thought that they were going to do, it felt like they were building up to that moment with the way that whole scene is laid out and the performance of the actor. And then obviously Ben the chimp. Yeah. But they didn't go for it. And what that is I'm pulling this off of Wikipedia, so bear with me, but this is the St. James Davis chimpanzee attack. So just to kind of run through this real quickly, St. James and LaDonna, these are two people, his wife LaDonna, they had a pet chimpanzee named Mo, whom they treated as if he were their child. After Mo bit several people, the city of West Covina, California, seized and placed him in an animal sanctuary near Bakersfield, California. The St. James and LaDonna couple waged a long and unsuccessful legal battle to recover him. On March 3rd, 2005, while at the sanctuary, one of their frequent visits with Mo, St. James and LaDonna were attacked by two young male chimpanzees named Buddy and Ollie after they had escaped their enclosures. In the ensuing attack, LaDonna lost her thumb and St. James was brutally mauled, resulting in permanent disfigurement and missing extremities. What about those missing extremities? Well, Buddy and Ollie destroyed a majority of St. James's fingers, his left foot, most of his buttocks, part of his torso, and both his testicles. And so what I was looking for in this movie... What I was looking for in this movie was a moment in which Ben the chimp was going to rip the genitals off one of the male characters and promptly beat the character with it.
Nick.
That's what I wanted. That is why it's not a 5-star movie. Because I was like, if we're already going to do this, if we're already going to be ripping jaws out, if we're pulling people's scalps off, if we're gouging people's eyes out, if we're doing all this stuff... You might as well go all the way. And it's not like chimps don't do that. It's not like chimps don't do that. They do it.
Do you have more data?
I mean, I could probably pull more data if you give me the time. I found this and I was like, this is enough. I think that we're good here.
I don't know if I feel good about it. I'm more interested in why the chimpanzee is ripping fingers off specifically.
Why do they do anything?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that chimps should be pets.
Yes,
Bare
100%.
minimum. Like, that's it. That's where this begins and ends for me, is I don't think that anybody should have a chimp as a pet. And it seemed like Ben had a very good life before, and then he got bit by a mongoose and things got bad. And I don't know, I was thinking about it. I was like, if my dog had rabies, I could take her, no problem. You know?
Oh, your dog. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. But I don't think I would want a creature in my home who, should they get rabies, I can't take them, you know?
Yeah. Well, this gets back to the whole conversation of like, could you even take a chimp that is just aggro?
No.
And then you multiply that with the rabies, and it just becomes something that is untenable to contend with. And a lot of the characters meet grisly fates and put up a fair fight. There's a particular sequence at the end where it's just like, homie's still going. Like, how are we still, like, y'all are hanging in there? And that was a little bit of like, well, they're like the hero characters, like they have to survive. So it's like you kind of buy into that. But like, my ass would be out for the count, like on so many different levels.
I think it was interesting too. I kind of thought that more people would make it through to the end. And I did like that they weren't afraid to get, like, there were a couple that you're like, oh, this person's annoying, of course they're gonna go. But then there was like one character in particular where I was like, well, she has to stay, you know? But no.
I think I know which one you're talking about. It gets to a point though that as people start to get killed off, you do start to like hyper focus on like the main core family characters, and you're like, well, they're probably gonna be fine. And but like, I was delighted though that like there's enough extra characters, especially the two boy characters they made at the plane at the very beginning of the movie. I was like, oh well, hell, these guys have to come back at some point. And then as soon as they come back, you're like, oh, just sit back and relax and watch Ben take care of this, because that's all we're here for. And so I do like, you know, when movies like this come out, maybe it speaks to my sensibilities and the things that I look for in horror movies, where I'm just like, oh, is there enough people here like for us to dispatch in very creative and gross and horrifying ways? And I'm thankful that this movie like made sure that like we had a good head count on our shoulders in terms of making sure that we get to see Ben do a lot of crazy things to these characters. But I want to go to the score. I really liked as well. And I think that the apt comparison of this to Cujo with a lot of this movie taking place with our characters hiding in a pool because Ben can't swim. So it does kind of have that sort of locked car Cujo type setup.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised at not only the way that Ben in a lot of ways sort of resembled in terms of like the way that he would attack and kill certain people, but the way he stalked and had like a level of intelligence. It felt, obviously, I mean, chimps are widely known to be intelligent creatures, let alone one that's been trained in the way that he has. But it did give me a lot of like Michael Myers, like stalking and like thinking, but like having this sort of like, you don't really know what he's thinking at any given moment. He kind of changes personalities on a dime. Not to say that, you know, Michael Myers has a range of emotions and personality, but the comparison there, I couldn't help but like in certain moments think like, well, he's behaving in a very Michael Myers way. Like, and then like they turn around and like they thought he was dead, but he's gone. Where'd he go? And it's like the shape disappearing, but the musical score, the synth wave, it felt very John Carpenter early, like, you know, Halloween and Escape from LA and things like that. I loved it. Yeah.
I mean, the way that it starts with the score coming in and like the text of the title, and it just I don't know, it just really just sets up. I feel like, isn't that similar to how Halloween starts? What's the opening of Halloween?
I mean, it depends on which one you're talking about. I mean, like the 2018 one, it like crescendos and then it booms.
The first one.
Into the title. The first one, I think you're probably right to the first one.
I think it's similar.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. But I agree that like I wonder, my only like complaint is I wonder if he was too smart as a chimp.
Interesting.
Because I don't feel like he had to like worry about fighting for survival, and like so hiding and like the stalking and the prey or anything like that, because he's been living with that family for so long that I'm not sure that he would have the knowledge to say, oh, I need to go hide now, or I need to step away. Things are going in their favor, so I need to step back. Whereas like the predator kind of instinct that I'm not sure that he had. I don't really like, I'm not putting that much thought into it, but it is something that I was like, I don't know if this is 100% what would happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a sequence with a car and electronic keys of unlocking and locking, which I thought was pretty cheeky and funny.
It was fun. Yeah.
There's a part with just a door handle.
Yes.
Which I thought was good as well. And it's like moments like that where like you find these characters that feel like they secured themselves, they got a leg up on Ben, and they can take a moment's respite. Yeah. And then he's like, "Oh no, honey, I know what I'm doing." And he's
well,
like,
so the
"Watch
door
this."
handle I'll give him, because he's seen people unlock and open his cage that he lives in time and time again. And it's a similar mechanism, and I think he could make that leap. But I do not believe that this man knows how to comedically open the trunk of a car and then just go nuts.
Maybe, but again, we're talking about not only a very smart animal just on its base metrics, but you're also talking about an animal that was raised by the late wife of the Troy Kotzer character, who raised Ben from a very young age, and he has this little like iPad where he like says words and stuff, and he can do sign language and all this other stuff, and is very multi-purposable in terms of his capabilities of getting around the house and kind of tending to himself. So I hear you, but I also think that it's like I can understand that, but I could also see the other side where it's like, well, duh, of course he would know that, and it makes for obviously a more entertaining sequence there with added levity. So I like that. I guess what I'll say, so we can do like spoilers right here. The scene in question that I wanted them to go a little bit farther on with, genital mutilation, was the sequence with one of the boys from the
part out for social media.
Out.
Yeah.
Primate needed more genital mutilation, so
I can see it on the movie poster. I can see it.
Could have used a bit more. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: if they would have done it, that's all I would have been talking about, and that would be like, you could put that on the poster. It's like, hell yeah, or like a pull quote on a teaser or something like that. I don't know. You've done that stuff before. Yeah. So that sequence, you have this character that's coming to the house to meet up with the girls that they met on the plane on the way in, and they're kind of mucking about in the house. They're obviously in the pool. And he gets into one of the girls' bedrooms, and it's like got this red lighting. It's got this sort of like a canopy sort of awning around the bed. He gets into it, and he's like, oh yeah, this is where we're going to have sex and everything. And then Ben shows up, and I really liked, I would imagine this was probably intentional from the director, but like the way that Ben like mounted him and like was like terrorizing him felt very sexual in a way of like how like you would like maybe position yourself in sex, and like I think that that's very intentional with like him obviously going to that house for sex and like how the tables turn or whatever, and then like he's like holding down his arms or whatever, and he's like thrashing around, and then he goes for the mouth and puts his little fingies in there and slowly rips his jaw out. And I like that we got a little bit of the playing around with like the bone of the jaw, and he's kind of like miming it or whatever, and then it comes back later in the movie. I was disappointed though that later on near the finale of the film, when our main hero Lucy is being pinned down by Ben as well, he also tries to go for like the jaw rip tactic. He puts his two fingers in her mouth and starts like pulling or whatever. I was like, buddy, there's got to be more tricks up your sleeves, man. You can't just be doing the same thing. We've seen you do a lot of things. Like, keep us interested. Maybe gouge your eyes out or something, but I don't know.
So where do you rank this in terms of, I do feel like this is just a pure slasher kind of story. Yeah. Where do you rank Ben in terms of the slasher greats?
Oh, goodness. Man, I don't know. I mean, it's hard when you think about something like this that's so fresh and new, and you try to stack it up against characters and horror icons that have had much more like time and years to sort of
Yeah.
build into the framework of film and horror, and just people's like affinity for these characters and more real estate in terms of films. But I mean, I would definitely say that in terms of like creature features and like, you know, a shark movie or like a lion, you know, attacking people in a movie or something like that. I was thinking about the Idris Elba, I think, movie called Roar. Oh, no, it's called Beast, I believe it's called.
Yes.
I must confess, I left halfway through that movie because I'd rather go home and play video games. I was with my friend Alex at the time, and we're just like, do you want to just go home and get drunk and play video games? And he's like, yeah, and we just left.
I have never left a movie. Well, one day we'll have to come back to the fact that you will just happily leave a movie halfway through, and I have never left a movie theater in the middle of a movie.
Just as a sidebar on that, I've only really ever done that with AMC A-List, because in my the way
it doesn't matter.
Calculated in my head is like, I didn't spend $16 to watch this movie. I didn't pay anything because I've already made up the sort of cost benefit analysis of my subscription and how many movies I typically see in a week. So like it kind of came out in the wash for me. But no, when I feel like there's other things that I could be doing and it feels like this movie's not going to try to do anything for me, I'll leave. I don't do it often. I've maybe done it like 3-4 times in my entire life.
That's not true, because you just did Avatar. Now you're telling me Beast.
So that's 2.
I'm
so
sure
I did
there's
it 2 more times. No, don't paint me out to be a villain here. But yeah, I think that in terms of that type of movie, whether like an Anaconda, not to bring that up, but like that type of, you know, a monster, a creature, an animal attacking humans and they have to escape, this one is top of the order in my opinion. I think that this one is probably, honestly, next to that movie Infested that I mentioned the other episode ago, the spider movie, where it's just like, y'all understood the assignment. Y'all made these things scary, and the violence is cool, and it's intense, and it's 90 minutes, and it's perfect at that runtime.
I mean, since you brought up Anaconda, let's go there. But I think even if we go to like the original Anaconda, not the new Anaconda, I think what makes that movie and more of like the creature feature movies less scary than I don't really get scared and stuff, but in Primate I was like, oh, this is just like a dead end. Like there's just no chance, no. but it feels like there's one, you know, because if like in Anaconda, there's like a bunch of people around, and if somebody gets snatched by the snake, like it's pretty much over for them. Like they're not coming back out. But with Primate, if somebody gets like in the clutches of Ben, like there's a chance you'll make it back out. And I think that to me is a much more interesting and kind of scary in a way concept of like, even if you get bitten, even if you get like beaten and bloodied, like you still might make it out and still have to deal with this like very real threat of this creature coming at you. Like it's not just this instant thing of like, you know, Sharknado, there's just sharks snatching people everywhere. But it just feels so much more visceral, I think, because it is more of a fight than it is like an instant knockout, if that makes sense. And I think that's what makes Primate a little creepy. You said you didn't watch any of the trailers, right?
No.
I got a trailer before Anaconda that didn't show any of the movie, but just showed people.
I hate those. I know what you're talking about. I hate those.
Okay, so it was that. And people were acting like it was the scariest thing. Were you on that level or no? Do you get scared like that?
I do. I was noticeably tense in several sequences throughout this film. I was just thinking about how like it does have moments of like dark levity with Ben, and the way that he sort of slips back into being that playful monkey or whatever that keeps it from just staying squarely in almost a mean-spirited horror movie. Yeah. Because the characters get really messed up in this movie, and the emotions are real and it's harrowing. I think that part of what makes that read so good, and I'm glad I just remembered to think of this before we closed out on the discussion of this movie, which is to say the practical effects in this movie. You can definitely tell that there is a stunt person in a chimp suit with the face, and they use some CGI for a lot of things, but like whenever the jaws of the chimp like latches onto someone's leg or whatever and rips out chunks of flesh, that is like a real prosthetic, and that is a real like they're doing it. And I think
you can and you can't tell. Like, it's not one of those things where it's I think of, Scooby-Doo in this live action Scooby-Doo. Like, you can obviously tell if that's a fake dog. But like you can't tell in the sense that it's not overly obvious that it's a human there. But if you think about it a little bit more, then you're like, oh yes, I can tell that like there's a tangible connection that the human actors that we are seeing are physically interacting with whatever this chimp thing is made out of. So like I wouldn't say that it's like you can wholly tell in like a bad way. Like it's that weird little balance of like you can and you can't tell. And for good, it's a great result.
Yeah, and I think I really do think that if this was like developed similar to like the Planet of the Apes thing, where you have somebody in a suit with like all the dots and stuff on, and they're doing, and it looked like the Planet of the Apes movies and things like that, and all the Andy Serkis projects that he does and stuff, I personally don't think it would have been as viscerally
no, I agree,
compelling or convincing. It's really different.
It's always going to be different if you're staring at somebody in spandex or if you're staring at a monkey costume, a well done monkey costume with that nasty foaming on the mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that gives that's another reason why like I really enjoyed this movie too, is because it's like it's another example of like, you can, if you just take the time to do it right, you can make it look really damn good and really real, and it elevates your movie in terms of its quality, but also it raises the stakes in terms of the audience's investment and believability into the events that are happening here. So like, I just give this movie huge kudos for like going the extra mile of like, we're gonna make this as practical and as real as possible. And yes, there's obviously moments of CGI where the ape is doing things that like, probably a performer wasn't doing, but it uses those very sparingly. And it's the way that the whole movie is designed in this particular like sort of cliffside manner. That's a gorgeous house. I love that pool, by the way.
You could not pay me to live in that house.
Well, I wouldn't live there because of like the steep drop and like what happens if like a typhoon or something and like volcanoes, and it's Hawaii, which Hawaii, I've never been. I'd love to go one day. It's crazy that that's part of America. You know what I mean? Like, are they over there like also like frustrated at what's going on with the government? Like, it feels like a totally different world over there.
Do you think it's true when the doctor says we don't have rabies on Hawaii?
I don't know.
Remember in the she says that we don't have rabies here. This can't be real. So then where did are we getting a prequel of Primate of where did the rabies come from?
Where did the mongoose come from? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, man, they should have vaccinated their chimp.
I don't If there's no cases of rabies, they're not gonna vaccinate you.
What, in Hawaii?
If that is true, they're not gonna like when I lived in LA, I tried to get my dog on flea and tick medicine, and they were like, there are no ticks in LA, you don't need it. And I was like, I would still like, I grew up on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like the dog's going to go home to the East Coast. I would like the dog to be protected. And they were like, well, we don't do that because there are no ticks here. And I was like, that's crazy. So
I guess that's true. I don't know. I just wanted to use that as a point of like, I don't know, that would have been the easy way out is what I'm saying. It's just like, hey, maybe vaccinate your chimps. Get your chimps vaccinated, guys. Lest this happen to you. But yeah, I just to kind of put a bow on this, what a great start to 2026. Like easy breezy, light 90-minute movie. It understands the assignment. It doesn't waste time getting to it. The gore is awesome. The practical effects are great. It's tense. And the performances across the board are bordering from fine to pretty good. Like, I liked the main girl, Johnny Sequoia. Troy Kotzer's great.
I was gonna say the acting I felt was primarily strong from the two sisters and the friend. So who's that? Lucy, Aaron, and Kate. I look at me now. I wrote a review earlier today. That's why.
Oh, nice.
But the three of them, I think, like from the moment where Lucy and Aaron, Lucy and Kate, who are the two friends, see each other on the plane. You just get their dynamic, and I think that it's a testament to like whatever connection the two of them have as actors in that scene. And I think that simple moment of seeing how they are friends, even you don't need the necklaces. I get that they needed the necklaces for like the larger plot, but sure. They had sold it so well from the beginning that you get it. And I think that is what you need for this type of movie. Like, I need less than 5 seconds. I need to understand the dynamics of all these people and how they know each other and why I should care about any of them. And I think that is what Primate did quite well, including their relationship with Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. A rousing good time at the theater. We both definitely endorse and recommend this movie. So if you haven't seen Primate, absolutely go check it out. It's a great time. It's a fun date movie. Like, go out there, have a great time.
A fun date movie?
Yeah.
It's
a fun date movie. Yeah, take your girl, take your guy, take whoever. Go see a movie where you're gonna be like holding each other's hands and jumping and like, what are you talking about? This is absolutely a date movie.
I don't know about this.
What's your definition of a date movie? What would you recommend?
Here's a crazy thing. I wouldn't go on a date to a movie.
Okay, well, like, I'm not talking like a first date where you're getting to know somebody. It's like, obviously you don't do that. But like, if you're in a relationship and you're like, hey, let's go see a movie tonight.
I mean, yeah, then you gotta have somebody who matches that freak. I don't think you can't just be like, yeah, if they don't like horror movies, don't take them.
Well, that's also like a uniquely like me problem in which like I make it like my mission to like sort of like soft condition people to watch intense movies. Usually it's people like my sisters in my life who are more inclined for horror. They've watched a lot of horror growing up and stuff like that. But like my littlest sister personally, like I bring her over all the time and I'm like, we're gonna watch, like Bring Her Back or something, or I think there's only one movie honestly that I've like won't recommend to like my sisters or really anybody in terms of horror, and it's certainly not a date movie, is Martyrs. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't. Where's my phone?
I watched it a year or two ago. I was bedridden and sick. Actually, that was actually a crazy experience for me because I was bedridden, sick with something, and I did a double feature of Martyrs and Old Boy. And it was the most baffling 4 hours of my life.
Oh my gosh. You didn't rate it though. I have no star rating here. Martyrs.
For what? Oh, really? Did I put a heart on it? Or nothing?
Yes.
Did I do nothing?
You put a heart.
I did a heart?
Yeah.
Whenever
Cute.
I put a heart on a movie, it means I don't really know what to say other than like some part of me enjoyed this to some extent.
Well, it's on Tubi, so you can watch it how it was meant to be seen with ad breaks every 5 minutes.
I bought it on Apple TV, but it is a punishing, upsetting film. But
cool.
Yeah, Primate is in theaters. Probably by the time you're listening to this, go check it out. If you have seen it, let us know what you think. Hit us up on all the socials. I think you'll hate this, and let us know what you think. We got a little bit of time before we wrap this podcast. Did a lot of good talks, a lot of fun, but I want to get to quickly recapping some of the high level takeaways coming out of the Critics' Choice Awards that were just this past Sunday.
You just really want my blood pressure to rise, don't you?
I do. So we had the Critics' Choice Awards on January 4th. We will be gearing up. Actually, probably by the time this episode is out, the Golden Globes will be over too. So we'll do probably a quick check-in on that as well as we get closer and closer to the Oscars with the Actors Awards coming up and bunch of other ones as well. I think BAFTAs as well. But we can kind of sort of sprint through this and kind of ping pong around our thoughts on this. We'll start from like the top down in terms of like the best picture and sort of work our way down. Best picture, One Battle After Another. I don't think either of us are particularly surprised by that notion.
Disappointed.
I know you're disappointed, not a huge fan of the film.
I know eventually we're going to have to like talk about why I don't like One Battle After Another. And I don't want to come to that day.
I think we will. I think we can have that conversation once the Oscar nominations come out, because then it's going to be like more like, here we go. That'll be like our huge deep dive. If not, also probably when we do our favorites of 2025, because I don't know what list we're going to do. If we're going to do 10, if we're going to do 5, whatever it is. But One Battle After Another is definitely on my list somewhere as one of my favorites. So it will be talked about. We will litigate this. It'll be fine. We'll survive this, because we also have to talk about Marty Supreme, Best Actor, Timothée Chalamet. I think, what's up?
Did you see Amanda Seyfried's Instagram comment?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. So, in his speech, he said, like, thank you so much to my partner of 3 years. I love the foundation, the foundation that we built or whatever. And Amanda Seyfried. Okay, here's the exact quote. Thank you to my partner of 3 years. Thank you for our foundation. I love you. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Amanda Seyfried commented on an Instagram picture of that and said, "Oh, not like a foundation / charity. I was curious about that."
I love when actors just like hop in other actors' like comment section and just say things.
So funny. I love Amanda Seyfried so much.
But what do you make of this? I mean, is this a harbinger of what's to come in terms of the rest of the awards coming up?
I don't know, because I think that Timmy has kind of been a critic's darling for a long time. So I'm not particularly surprised that he won here. I think it's kind of a younger group of voters as opposed to some of the upcoming awards that are older that would probably favor some of the performances of like Joel Edgerton or something along those lines.
Or Wagner Moura.
And so I wasn't particularly surprised. I don't love this choice. I think he played the same note throughout the whole movie. I don't think that and he's played this role, I think, before, kind of just like a manic, intense dude without the ping pong. And I just don't really feel like this role pushed him in a way that was interesting enough to me to warrant this. But totally happy for fair. His foundation.
How can I donate? Best Actress, Jessie Buckley, Hamnet. This feels like a lock. I mean, I don't know. I'm nervous. By the time this podcast will come out, my local film critic awards will have been published, and she got beat by Rose Byrne. Yeah.
I think it's gonna go. I think they're gonna trade it either way. So I personally wholly in Jessie Buckley's court, as evidenced by last episode. But I don't think it's as much of a lock as I would hope it to be. Yeah,
I think you made a very astute observation in terms of like the voting panel for each of these, awards, whether it's the Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, which we're talking about, and then the Oscars. Like, you do kind of have to put your sort of head in the hive mind of those folks and kind of where they're at, and sort of, it's also, people. There are cutoffs, obviously. So like as each award show concludes, the next sort of cutoff for like the Golden Globes and for the Oscars occur. So like every awards show that concludes, there's time for people to like react to the ones that won and change their thoughts or like go revisit a movie. And so we'll probably see the conversation around Jessie Buckley and Rose Byrne ping pong back and forth as we get closer and closer to the Oscars.
You could always see something crazy that happens with the Oscars where the two of them split the vote and then we get a wild card third person who comes in.
And then somebody's like, it's actually Jennifer Lawrence. You win. Die, my love.
There's not. I'm sorry to Jennifer Lawrence. She's not getting nominated.
You don't think she's getting nominated?
I don't think so.
I think it'll be her.
I don't know. I don't know what they do out there, but
we got time to speculate on all this. Best supporting. I'm gonna just lump these two together because they feel like they make sense together. Best supporting actor Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein, and best supporting actress Amy Madigan in Weapons. I do think we'll see both of these continue to be nominated. I think that this is probably where their win will stop.
I don't know. I think Jacob Elordi's got momentum, and he's got the kind of look of old Hollywood that I feel like really captures people's attention. I mean, he played Elvis exceptionally well. And so I think that he feels more of a potential consistent lock than Amy Madigan.
Yeah, I would say out of those two, which one is more likely to win in subsequent awards? It's probably going to be Jacob Elordi. I definitely think that once you get to the Oscars in particular, I don't think Amy Madigan will win, and I am hopeful that she'll get nominated, but we'll see how the environment
you
evolves.
also have to look at the supporting actress race right now. I think Sentimental Value
has two,
but it, I think, is a harder movie to get into if you want to look at everything that the Oscars are, how they're trying to force people to actually watch the entirety of the movie. I think Sentimental Value is a harder hill to get over in terms of watching it, as opposed to Weapons, which I think starts in a really fantastic way. And by the time maybe you're not feeling how Weapons is turning out, you've already seen enough of Amy Madigan's performance. Whereas if you're watching Sentimental Value, Elle Fanning's not showing up till halfway through.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that I think you unfortunately do have to take into consideration that Oscar voters are not watching movies in the same tuned in way that a lot of film lovers who are having these conversations are. So we can put Elle Fanning and Inga against Amy Madigan because we've seen both films and seen all three of their performances. But I don't think that that's necessarily what is going to happen in the long run.
And honestly, the less predictable these things are, the more exciting it is for me. I definitely don't want an awards run for any of these movies or any of these performers where it's like, oh, they won this award, so they're locked in for the rest. And every new awards, the BAFTAs, the Golden Globes, all that, the SAG, they all just start winning them, because then it just starts to become not fun to tune in. I like when things kind of, the rug's pulled out from underneath you in some respects. Yeah. I like then the upset, frankly.
You get the pure joy of Jessie Buckley's speech, of just how in love she is with acting and how passionate she is. And you just get this unfiltered word vomit of how proud she is of what she and the whole crew of Hamnet have done. And those are my favorite kind of speeches that are just nonsense. She's just saying whatever comes to her head. And I think I love when speeches are like that.
Next up, we have Best Young Actor or Actress. This is not going to be on many of the other awards as far as I'm concerned, but it's worth mentioning just because the lineup was stupid stacked. I remember watching it, and pretty much every performer they listed, I was like, Girl from Rental Family, hell yeah. Jacoby Jupe, hell yeah. Miles Caton, hell yeah. Every single one, I was like, dude, any of these kids could win, and I would be delighted. And I think that this is incredibly well deserved. Miles Caton and Sinners.
The scene where you hear him sing for the first time in the car, and it's just and Michael B. Jordan's face, I don't remember which twin it was, but he's just does a double take of holy shit.
He's I think in the car playing, and he's like, oh, you can sing.
Yeah. And it was just I think that was the same reaction of everybody in the theater, especially me. I was like, oh my God, his voice is beautiful.
He is, I would argue, the soul of that movie. Very, very due for a rewatch on that. Gonna try to sprint through these because we're getting up to the hour. Best Director, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another. Again, not really shocked by this. I think that it's probably going to be between him, Jafar Panahi, and maybe Ryan Coogler. I think those three are probably going to be the trio shuffle. Best original screenplay, Ryan Coogler, Sinners.
I think that
Fine.
honestly might have a lock.
I think that's fine. Best adapted screenplay, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another. I would say kind of loose. I think that's a loose adaptation. I don't know. From everything I've heard about Vineland by Thomas Pynchon, like, I think that Paul Thomas Anderson added a lot of his own interpretation and own desires of narrative and characters and stuff that I think the baseline bare bones is probably the same, but I think that he adapted a lot in terms of his own sort of feelings and thoughts.
Which then
on it.
you kind of have to wonder if it's like a politics game then. If you try for adapted and you've done the most in overhauling what it is.
Yeah.
As compared to like Hamnet, where it follows close to the book, but it's still like it still differs in some way, and a lot of the book is internal, like an internal dialogue of these characters. So I think that the way that they were able to translate it is like what makes Hamnet stand out, but that's a harder development of a script to sell than to be like, whoa, look how different One Battle After Another is from the book that it was adapted on, you know?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to watch this one as we move forward to see how
I think
consistent this is.
I think it's going to be consistent. I think the screenplays are going to be consistent.
Well, we'll see. We got best casting and ensemble, Francine Maisler for Sinners. I think that's fine. I think that's a really stacked
awards.
cast.
Yeah.
I think that is great. I believe that there's also going to be a casting thing, I think, for the Oscars,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
First year.
Best cinematography, Adolfo Veloso for Train Dreams.
Yes.
I think what it was up against, there's a lot of incredibly worthy candidates there, but I mean, I'm very much due for a rewatch on Train Dreams, but I do remember like one of the first things that came to mind as that movie was playing, and I saw it in theaters, and I was just like, damn, this is a good looking movie.
It's so
Damn,
good.
that's
I love
awesome.
Train Dreams. I really adore Train Dreams.
It is. It's a movie that's so in love with beauty and nature and just the quiet human experience. I just was absolutely swept away by it, and I think that it definitely deserves that award, and I will be very excited to see if it continues in this pattern. We're going to bundle these three together because they're all the same movie. Best production design, best costume design, best hair and makeup, all Frankenstein. I think that's more than fine, because the only other one that I think that would probably, contend with that is maybe Wicked, but like, screw Wicked, honestly.
Oh.
I'll just say it. It's not a good movie, dude.
I think Sinners has a chance at hair and makeup. I think because of like what they did with the contacts in the eyes, crazy.
Yeah, okay.
I think you should read about that if like, it's fascinating. And then all of the hair and makeup that they had to do for the dream sequence, also really good. I think that one. I think hair and makeup could go between Frankenstein and Sinners. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I like that. We also now have best, I'm going to loop these together, best sound and best editing. This goes to F1, the movie. Okay.
I think Warfare should have been in a larger conversation. That's my hot take.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, yes. Especially for best sound.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I think that is absolutely a great pool, because I have forgotten about that movie, because admittedly it's a little forgettable, but the sound.
But the sound is fantastic in it.
The sound is why you go. See it in IMAX. Best visual effects, Avatar, Fire and Ash. No real surprise there.
Shout out to the fire lady. I love her.
Best stunt design, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Cool.
Yeah.
Fine.
I honestly, you know what? Shout out Ballerina though. Ballerina was great. Nobody saw it.
Yeah, I saw
But
it.
the stunts in Ballerina are really good.
Yeah. It's hard not to admire a John Wick style film,
Right.
for its stunts and all that jazz. Best animated feature, K-pop Demon Hunters. I mean, I think it's
I'm
either going
gonna
to be
plead
this
the
or Little
fifth.
Amelie.
It's not going to be Little Amelie. You shouldn't put any more money on Little Amelie, even though all of my heart and soul is on Little Amelie.
So when I bet the other day for Little Amelie, I mistakenly bet for the Oscars. So I will have to wait and see how that turns out.
You know what? Maybe the Oscars won't let me down.
Best comedy, The Naked Gun. This is not a category that really exists anywhere else aside from comedy musical and like the Golden Globes and stuff.
No, but I'm happy this one and not Marty Supreme or Begonia.
Were those nominated? I don't
idea.
Remember.
I don't know. Okay.
I know Friendship was on there, so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But Naked Gun, I think it screams comedy. That's all it is. Yeah. It is a comedy movie, and it's front to back loaded with jokes, and it's much more successful than it had any right being. I can only hope and pray that we're having this same sort of conversation about how good and funny Naked Gun was when a lot of us weren't necessarily thinking it could be. I hope we have the same conversation around this time next year, after this year, I guess, for Scream 6. Scary Movie 6. Good Lord, I'm stumbling over myself. That one is kind of like, to me, Naked Gun, where it's just like, what are we doing here? And then it's like, I welcome hopefully being surprised by, they've got a plethora of horror that they can parody and spoof, and so I hope they just do it smart and they know what they're doing. Last two that we can hit here real quick is best score is Ludwig Göransson for Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Great. This is good. I think this is fine.
Yeah.
And then lastly, best foreign language film, The Secret Agent, which weirdly enough, I haven't seen it either. I'll definitely have seen it before the Oscars, so rest assured. They apparently announced this while a lot of the attendees of the Secret Agent team were still on the carpet getting interviewed, and they basically handed them the Critics' Choice Awards.
I heard that
on the interview, and they were kind of like looking at each other like, oh, okay. And I think that might be why Wagner Moura, and I think that was the director of The Secret Agent, that went up and presented Best Picture.
That's so weird.
Interesting how they did that. I don't like that either.
I don't like when they don't put awards on the main stage. The Oscars are notorious for that.
Yeah.
But I really think that it just diminishes what the person is doing, and like the person being recognized or the film being recognized or anything. To just like do it in a commercial break is disheartening.
The Critics' Choice Awards did that a lot because, granted, it's also juggling television awards, so there's like maybe 40 awards total they have to get out through. But there was quite a lot that were like, you know, best score, best sound, best editing, best visual effects. All those things were just like commercial breaks, like, and the winner of this is this, and you don't even get to hear from the team that worked on it and stuff. And this is going to get into a whole other thing, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about it as each new awards show comes out and we get more and more pissed. But it's things like that, and it's the lack of clips, especially for the performances of the film, that we waste so much time doing all these bits with the performers and all these monologues and all these like little gags and stuff that you either cut off somebody that won an award and they want to speak, or two, you make no time for best actor, show a snippet of a great moment of that performance so that for the audience that maybe hasn't seen Marty Supreme or hasn't seen Sentimental Value can understand what Stellan Skarsgård is doing in that film, and maybe that will compel them to want to check out the movie.
Right.
We're celebrating movies. Why aren't we showing the movies?
I think that's the biggest issue with the Oscars is they are not trying to sell it to the film lovers. They are trying to sell it to everybody else. And so they're just doing all of these things to make other people want to watch the show when they realize that there's a strong built-in audience that will watch it every single year, and they're not catering to them at all. And I think that the opening monologue of some comic is usually fun, or it's at least something to talk about. But I think that obviously like the bigger focus should be on all of the films that we're celebrating, and it's the clips, it's bringing back the fashion show that we used to do for the costumes. Like that is what we want to do here. Like you want to celebrate the things that you're supposedly wanting to celebrate. Just say that you want to photograph famous people in a room and like call it a day, or celebrate filmmakers.
Yeah, agreed. And it's like, I mean, I wonder how much of that is part of the whole move to YouTube that they're going to be doing in like 2029 or whatever the hell. But I think that, I mean, the show is already way too long without the stuff that we actually care about and the reason why we're doing it. So I don't know why, you know, Jimmy Kimmel slipping on a banana and then Ellen DeGeneres or somebody buying pizza for everybody and going around the audience. Why they think that would be more interesting for audiences versus like showing the movies and having the people that worked on these things get up and talk about it. Not to say you can't have these things. It's a dance, but like it's already 3.5 to 4 hours long anyway. So it's like, whatever. I don't know. But
I mean, you and I don't get paid enough to figure out this problem for them, but it is a real problem.
I would do it for
we
them.
We are available.
Yeah. Until AMC calls me, I'm available for that type of work. But that is the end of this. That's the end of the Critics' Choice Awards. That's the end of our episode. So yeah, looking ahead, there's a lot to digest. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to be back with another episode very, very soon, talking about more movies, talking about more awards. Anything you want to close out with, Tina? Anything exciting coming up that you want to?
Well, here's a way that we end things now.
Let's do it.
We say the next movie that we're going to watch, either in theaters or at home.
Okay. I am seeing... This is the next movie I have set up. It's not necessarily one I may watch between now and then, but I will be... I touched on it lightly last episode, but I think I am still planning on seeing Is This Thing On on Thursday, and we will maybe or maybe not talk about it. We'll see.
I think I'm going to watch at home. I think I'm going to watch Him.
Have you seen it?
Yes. And I thought it wasn't bad.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
And that's it. And then we won't say anything further.
No. Let's just let that be all of our thoughts on Is This Thing On and Him. And we'll let the listeners fill in what they think we think about it and leave it at that.
All right.
Thank you guys for listening, for watching wherever. If you are watching, make sure you go ahead and hit follow or subscribe on all your podcast platforms of choice. Follow us on any of our social medias across TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Again, we're still ramping things up, learning placements on things. So appreciate your all's patience, but thank you guys for hanging out with us, talking with us. Feel free to reach out to us in all the comments section. Give us any tips. Give us your thoughts on the show. Anything you want us to talk about. We want this to be a collaborative sort of community experience. So don't be shy. Come say hey. Let's talk about movies. And I guess kind of like the thing that we've been doing often is when we sign off is say, go watch a movie or something.
Go watch a movie. Go watch Him.
Go watch a movie. Go watch Him and go watch Is This Thing On, directed by Bradley Cooper.
Thank you.